Good evening, Team Our Victory. It is Brittany McMillan here. I am here tonight with our Wednesday webinar, as promised. So this is our second one of the month. So we are getting so close to the end of January. I'm just so excited at how much work everybody's been putting into the new year and just where we're really going to take this train, this 2015. I'm so excited. Tonight's topic is all about inviting. And since we have some new coaches on the team and just, coaches in general that I feel like when they come to me, they tell me that it's just really hard for them to invite, that you get out of your comfort zone a lot of times. And it's one of those parts of being a Beachbody coach that's uncomfortable. And so I thought that this would be a really great topic for tonight to kind of dive into and just to see how we can flip our mentality on invitations and make it just not so scary after all. So, one of the 3 vital behaviors of Beachbody is to invite. And it is so crucial to the growth of your business. If you want to grow a business, not only do you have to be running challenge groups every single month, at least one a month, you're going to have to also invite people to be coaches in your own downline. So the invitation process it's so important, and it's something that's got to be ongoing every single day. There's got to be conversations going on, whether it's conversations about the coaching opportunity or if it's conversations in general just about a challenge group that you're hosting or what it is that you're even doing. Sometimes people just inquire about, what is all this health and fitness stuff that you're doing lately? So it's really important to the growth of a business. If you want to run and have and function a working business, then you've got to invite. This is my personal demon. I can be proof that the product works all day long. I can do my workouts, I can drink my Shakeology all day. I've got that one down pat. And I can read personal development until the cows come home. I love it. But the invitation process, it's even scary to me. And even creating this webinar for you guys, I even said, wow, I should try that. And so it's so funny because I'm even learning as I'm trying to teach you guys about invitation, because you know what? You're never going to have it down packed to a science, because as you grow, you're going to make things work for you. Why is inviting so scary though? Because it's scary for me. Well, the biggest one and the obvious aha for all of us is that it forces us to get out of our comfort zone. And when you have to talk to people about things that maybe you're not so comfortable about, maybe you don't feel like you're the best health and fitness coach out there. And so maybe it's hard for you to give people advice or to invite them to things when you don't really believe in it yourself. So, the more that you grow and the more that you become a better health and fitness advocate, the better your invitation process is going to get, and it won't be so scary after all. But it forces us to get out of that comfort zone. You might not be comfortable talking about Beachbody products yet, but the more and more and more you talk about Beachbody products, the easier it is to invite people to use them. It's also hard, I think, sometimes when we're inviting, because I think sometimes we feel like we need to talk to people, maybe on social media, that we haven't spoken to in a while. And you feel like, I always do this. I see people from my past, right? Like, let's just say high school. Maybe I see people that I'm friends with on Facebook, and I went to high school with them, but, we see each other's lives on Facebook now, and we've got kind of new lives going on and new things. But we, know them from back then, right? Like, we have this, aura about them, or this label we've given them that's kind of just like, oh, that's who they were. Well, you and I both know that you are not necessarily the same person that you were in 10th grade, as I'm not necessarily the exact same person that I was in 10th grade. So you've kind of got to give people the benefit of the doubt that maybe they're not so bad anymore. A lot of people I see on Facebook, I'm friends with them on Facebook, but I maybe wasn't really friends with them in high school. Maybe they were mean, or maybe we're just in separate cliques, whatever. But maybe that's uncomfortable to talk to them because at that stage in our life, we really weren't connected. But maybe there's a reason you guys can connect now, and that your lives kind of circled back to one another again. So never just brush that off, that can't be possible, because it can be. And it's also scary because I know all of you on this team, and none of you are salespeople. Just like me, I'm not a salesperson. And so sometimes it's scary for us because we don't want to sound like we're trying to sell something. And, we don't want people to think that that's the only reason we're talking to them is because we want their money. So showing them the value in what you're doing and showing people consistently day in and day out that you are true blue Beachbody and that this is a part of your life and that you really want to help people, by showing them that you're there to help, it makes the invitation process less scary, because you see the value in what you're offering to your customers. One of the big ways to show people value and to kind of bridge that gap so that you don't feel like a salesperson and so that you feel like you can ask and talk to anybody despite your past or anything like that is this thing that we like to call forming the relationship. So if you don't have a pen and paper out yet, this is the time to get it out, because from here to the end of the webinar, there's going to be great notes that you can take. So make sure that you're grabbing that. Forming a relationship. So what does that mean? Well, FORM stands for friends and family. The O stands for occupation. R, recreation, so what they like to do for fun. And M is your message. That's what you want to actually ask them, essentially what you're trying to get to. So let's go back. So F, friends and family. When you first start talking to somebody and you really want to sell a challenge pack to them because you know that they'd be perfect for your next challenge group or they've inquired before, the first thing we want to do is we want to go to that M. We want to get to our message, but that's actually not going to help you long term. First, you want to form a relationship. So F, friends and family. Talk to them. Oh my gosh, I just saw that you were on vacation with your husband. How was that? Ask him a question about, something that you noticed on Facebook. Oh my gosh, your daughter is so precious. I see she just started kindergarten. What's that like for her? Is she having fun? Or what's that like for you now that she's, at school all the time? Whatever. Talk to them about what's going on in their lives. Your O is going to stand for their occupation. So ask them about their job. Ask them about what they're doing. How's everything going in your life? How's work going? Recreation, R, what do they do for fun? So, ask them if you've seen something that they just recently did. Oh my gosh, I saw that you went to that concert. How was that? I'm so jealous. That sounds like an amazing concert. Just things that make you human. The thing that I hate the most about most network marketing companies is that the first thing they want to do is they want to let you know all about their products. And I can't do that. I'm just not like that. And so I think the thing that draws me to Beachbody the most and why I enjoy working for this company is that it gives me a chance to be a better human being. I'm a better friend. I'm a better sister. I'm a better daughter. I'm a better, girlfriend. I'm a better human being because of this company that I work for, because this can go through all aspects of life, forming the relationship. Our first initial, not reaction, but it's like on our agenda. When we go to talk to somebody, usually what it is, the reason you came to talk to them is usually what you talk to them first about. We almost forget to ask them how their day is or what's going on in their lives, or just stop to talk and chat for a second about things. And when you actually stop and do that, the kind of difference that you get in conversations, the kind of relationships you get with people, they are so different than if you just go over to so-and-so and tell them exactly what you needed to tell them and then you walk away. People value you more. They also begin to trust you more as a person. And I started seeing this actually in my teaching job, because I would have teachers come to me and they'd come in my classroom and they'd immediately say, Ms. McMillan, I need to know about X, Y, and Z. And they wouldn't ask me how I was doing or stop for a second and just talk about anything other than the reason they came to my classroom. And I started to catch myself doing that. And so in forming relationships, you're gonna see your mistakes. I oftentimes will be typing on Facebook. I'll be typing a message because I want to follow up with somebody about, let's say, they asked me about Shakeology. And so I'll start to type to them, following up about Shakeology. And then I'd realize, wait a second, I didn't say anything that's showing that I care about them and their health and their life. I just look like I care about Shakeology and selling it to them. So I stop, and there's so many times that I'll have to just delete, and go back and rewrite it and start with something that is a friend, family, conversation, occupation, recreation, something before that M, that FOR is so important because your message is going to be so much louder and clearer in a friendship sort of way, in a helping sort of way, than a sales way when you do those first three things. So try that. And it's important that when you're forming this relationship, ask as many questions as you can. The more questions you ask, the more you're going to get to know your customer's situation, and then you can help them better, because you can always go back later and you can say, oh my gosh, remember when you told me that, you were so bad at eating breakfast? I've got this new group that I'm starting, and we're all drinking Shakeology for breakfast, and I think you'd be a perfect match for that. And so when you're asking these questions and you're learning about them, it's not necessarily that you can use it right then. It's something that you could even come back later and use, to add value to what you do, and to also invite customers later so it's not so scary. And a lot of times I find this happening, that customers will jump the gun, and we don't even get a chance to ask them those questions, because they'll say, how much is this? Or when does the group start? And they want to drive. But remember, you have to be in the driver's seat in this. And so I find that when customers or potential customers start to do that, I redirect them to my Jot form. Now, if you've never used Jot form, going to jotform.com, you can create free forms that are like submission forms. And so I've created my own forms for different, purposes, whether it's a nutrition group or a health and fitness challenge group, or maybe it's a Jot form for coaching opportunity. But I've created various Jot forms that then what I do is I'll send them the link to this, like, oh my gosh, I want to answer all of your questions, but before I answer your questions, I really just want to get a grasp on, on what you want out of this group. So I would love it if you could go fill out this form. And you know what? I've had people that don't. I don't care, because if that person couldn't take the time to fill out this form and all they wanted to know was how much Shakeology was, I promise you that once I told them that Shakeology was, $130, $140, they probably would have ended the conversation there. So it makes me look more professional when I send them to a link that's acknowledging the fact that I want to help them, rather than just answering a question about money. It makes me look more of a professional to them. And there's people that have later come back to me, that maybe at that time they wanted to know about the money, and then they realized, they never filled out the form, and then they come back to me later and they actually end up filling out the form and they have great results. So just because you lose somebody once doesn't mean you've lost them forever. So don't worry about that too. The more genuine you are and the more professional you are in what you're doing, the more people see it, and then they realize that. So forming relationships, so big, so big. So there's two things that I want to talk about tonight, and I want to talk about challenge group invites, and I also want to talk about coach invites, because there's two different ways that we invite people. So I'm going to start off with challenge group invites. Now, I've created kind of a 5-step plan for how you're going to invite people to your challenge group. These are the steps that you would take. So I'll just give you all the steps, and then I'm going to break them down one at a time. So step 1 would be a social media blast. Now, step 1 is so easy. We all do step 1. I've seen all of you guys do social media blasts for your upcoming challenge groups. So that one's pretty easy. Step 2 is reaching out to those immediate interests. Step 3 is then going to be reaching out to others. Step 4 is an evaluate process. We want to evaluate what's going on. And step 5, we're going to modify. So these 5 steps I would go through every time that I'm ready to start a new challenge group. So obviously the first one is going to be your social media blast. And before you can even do a blast, you need to decide your window. When you've decided that you're going to start a challenge group on February 2nd, Monday, February 2nd, you want that challenge group to start. Well, I always back up. If that's going to be my week 0, I always back up 2 weeks before that. And I do my very first blast then. I probably only do 2 to 3 social media blasts per advertisement, per group that I want to advertise, okay? So when I say social media blast, what I mean is that you're making a picture and you're coming up with a nice write-up of what your group's about and why you should join it and why it's for them. And that's just what I mean when I say social media blast. So you want to pick your window for advertising that. And again, so if my group is going to start on February 2nd, then I want to back up 2 weeks before that and begin advertising. So obviously, if you look at our timeline right now, what is today, the 28th? So Monday was the 26th. So if you haven't started your blasting on social media for a group starting next Monday, then you can't start a group next Monday. It's just not possible. Okay? So what I do is I post a picture usually of this, and I type up a message that's nice and fancy that kind of summarizes what the group's about and why somebody needs that in their life at this time. And I always make a call to action with it. So in your post, I always recommend try not to sound too salesy. I mean, it goes back to what we talked about, with forming the relationship and everything. But you don't want to sound like you're just selling them something. Again, you want them to realize that there's value in what you guys are about to do together, and you want them to want to be a part of what you're going to do. Include a call to action, like I said. So, for example, you could say, like this status for more info, comment below with your email, or click on the link to apply. Those are all ways to get them to do something. Oftentimes, if you just put it up there and there's nothing for them to do, they don't know what to do. I mean, really, right? So you want to lead them exactly where you want them to go. Now, just because you tell them to comment below and nobody comments, I mean, nobody actually listened to your call to action. So, that we're going to talk about that and what you should do with that then. But you should always have some sort of action that they're going to need to do after they've read your post. And another tip for when you're doing your social media blast is that before you start your advertisement window, okay, you're going to want to maybe post about things that are relevant and relative to that topic. So for example, if you're going to really hype off of 21 Day Fix Extreme that's coming out next week, then maybe you want to post yourself doing a regular 21 Day Fix workout and talking about how much you loved it and you're ready for more. Maybe you want to post a sharing post about how you're working on a new recipe for your 21 Day Fix. It's 21 Day Fix approved, and it's 2 greens, 1 red, 1 yellow, and a purple. And then people are like, well, what does that mean? What do those colors mean? And so you want to build interest, and you're sharing. You're not selling 21 Day Fix. You're sharing about 21 Day Fix. You're saying, this is this program. This is what I'm doing. And that's it. You should always do that before you begin that advertisement process so that it's already in their minds, like, oh, 21 Day Fix. And then all of a sudden, this advertisement comes up for this new group. They're like, wait a second, I remember you were talking about that the other day. You had that cool recipe, and I actually tried it, and I really liked it. Maybe that's for me. And it's also important during the window of time that you're advertising, rather than just advertising, join my group, join my group, join my group over and over, continue to share posts that are related to that. So, like, again, if it's the 21 Day Fix group, then maybe you share what 1 week of your meal plan would look like, what a 1 week in a 21 Day Fix meal plan looks like. Maybe you want to share about Shakeology and the benefits of that, because that's going to be part of your group. Maybe you want to share about how it is that you build habits in 21 days and that it takes 21 days to build a habit. Just anything that is related to 21 Day Fix without actually saying 21 Day Fix or selling 21 Day Fix and talking about just that product, you're going to be putting it in their minds. So in addition to just blasting the advertisement, you also want to give content on your page that's kind of leading the fish to the water, if you will. The next one is reaching out to your immediate interests. So once you have your call to action, look at who followed it. Okay? Write those people down immediately. So when that happens, I'm making a list. So once you decide that you're going to open up this group for people to register or people to inquire about it, you've got to start a running list. Anybody that does your call to action, if your call to action is comment below with your email, the second that person comments below with the email, you've got to write their name down, write down their email, and then follow up, of course, with whatever it is you're going to send them, because obviously if you want their email, you're going to send them more information in an email. If your call of action is to just like the page, write down anybody who liked it. Even if you think it was like a pity like or a humor, like they humored me, write them down anyway. Who cares? So any of those are your first and foremost, obvious, right? You're going to write down the people who followed your directions. But then let's think about the people who didn't follow your call to action, okay, but maybe they liked it, or maybe they shared it, or, what have you. Maybe they didn't go to the link and fill out the jot form, but maybe they liked your status. Write them down. Would they be a good candidate? Consider that. And there's some people that like my things, like my challenge groups, that they like them all the time and they never want to join them, and it just becomes white noise after a while, and I don't follow up. But if you're newer at this, follow up with all of them. Just ask. Why not? Hey, I saw that you liked my post about my challenge group. Do you want more information about it? I'd love to have you in it. Simple as that, right? And if they say, oh, I'm, thanks, but no thanks, I'm really busy right now. Cool. I hope all is well, whatever. Follow up, though, within 24 hours. Do not leave people hanging, okay? It's, again, that professionalism thing. If you're going to put up on Monday an advertisement, you've got to be ready on Monday night to set aside time, and Tuesday morning to set aside time to follow up with people who immediately were interested. Again, use the form to guide you. Do not word vomit everything. You don't want to be like, and we're going to do this program, we're going to drink this Shakeology, and it costs this much, and it's going to take this long to deliver it, and it's going to be this many days, and then I'm going to give you, they don't need to know all that, right? They don't need to know every single bit of information. What you need to do is you need to go back to what we said and ask questions, and then listen. Write down what they're wanting so then you can help them better. Because again, that builds trust. Because just because they immediately were interested doesn't mean it's a sale. You could blow it just by not being interested in them and just being interested in you and what you want. So build that trust, take time, and ask questions. The next bit is a little harder. So yeah, we know that we should do a social media blast. All of my coaches on Team Our Victory, we know that you got to reach out to the people that are interested in your group. Of course, that's no-brainers. But then a lot of times this is where I see us stop. This is where I see our team having a difficult time and saying that I can't find anybody for my challenge group, or nobody's liking my status, or nobody's interested. It's not rare for that to happen. That happens all the time to even the top coaches that, that they'll ask somebody to do something and they get nobody in response, right? Or they get, the people that are already in their challenge groups are liking their status, or it's the people that are already following them and drinking Shakeology that are liking their status. And you're like, oh, but you're not a new person, right? So how do you get new people? Well, you have to reach out to other people. So here's some questions that you can ask that might help you decide who you could reach out to. Who else would benefit from the group that you're running? Think through people that you know, like who would benefit from this group because they need 21 Day Fix Extreme, or they need Shakeology every morning. Who has shown interest in the past that you could maybe go back and touch base with? Maybe they were in a group a while ago and they haven't been in one of your recent groups, so you could snatch them back in. Maybe way back when in May they inquired about one of your groups you were doing in the summertime, and it just wasn't the good timing. The timing wasn't right and it didn't work out. Well, maybe, hey, I was just thinking about you. How's everything going? I know you were so busy this summer, but has life settled down for you? Form the relationship, and then inquire and ask them, I was totally thinking about you because I'm starting another group, and I know back then you wanted to, but it wasn't right timing. Do you think now is better timing? I'd love to have you in the group. Just touch base. Also think about, excuse me, consider who needs you, right? Sometimes people are really afraid to tell you that they need you. So be the person that reaches out to them, and make them feel not so uncomfortable to have to ask you. Sometimes you think you're afraid to ask them, well, they're afraid back. It goes both ways. So who needs you that you could reach out to? And finally, this is my favorite one. Who would have fun in your group? Who would be fun? Oh my God, I would love to have this person in this group because they always make me laugh and they're so chatty and we're always talking about this. And I know that they bring a great vibe to the challenge group. Who? Go ask them. Why not? So you got to reach out to other people. This is where a lot of times I see coaches kind of just fall short, because it's one of those things where it would be easier, right, if people just came to you, and if the work was just magically done by putting up the post. It would be a lot easier. But unfortunately, that's just not our reality. You're going to have to reach out to other people. So now we've reached out, we've got a list going. We've created a list of all those people who have shown interest, and then the ones that we reached out to. Now you're going to have to sit down and look at your list and you have to evaluate it. So the first question that I would always ask myself is, do I have enough people? Do I have enough people to function a group? I don't like to run a challenge group that only has probably I would say 3 or less people in it. I guess for me, I just don't feel like, they're going to benefit. And there's different ways that you could run a group with a small amount of people like that. But I just enjoy personally having more people in the group. The more the merrier. It allows people to get a little bit more comfortable because there's more people to have more conversations. And so, if you only have 3 and the 3 people are maybe a little shy or just hesitant to post their before and afters, it's fun when you have more because then you find it's easier to find that one person that they'll post their before and after and then everybody else okay, I guess it's not so bad after all, and that ringleader kind of. So always ask yourself if you have enough people. Also look, do they have a common program or a common goal? Because, when you're asking all these questions and deciding what program would be right for them, maybe your group was a 21-day fix extreme group and that's what you advertised. But maybe you found 5 people and these 5 people, after you've done all of your questioning and after you've talked to these people and really formed a relationship, maybe you start to realize man, nutrition is what they're all really struggling with. This is what I need to help this group with this month. I've got to get off my high horse and stop thinking about 21 Day Fix Extreme, and I've got to hone in on nutrition. And, Shakeology's got to be my vehicle. And so maybe I just need to recommend Shakeology only to them. Or maybe I'm going to assign them to a pathway and a program that's perfect for them, one that they're going to fall in love with and really enjoy doing because it's better for maybe their age or their current weight situation, or just they enjoy free weights more than using their own body weight. Maybe they don't want high impact. Just all those things are so important when you're looking at the program that you want to pick for somebody. So maybe after you've looked at all of the people on your list, maybe the actual original name of your group that you were going to do, maybe it's not relevant anymore. So again, evaluate that. And lastly, have you networked to enough people? If you don't think you've networked out enough, then obviously you're going to have to go back into step 3 in reaching out to others. And finally, here we are at step 5. You've got to modify. So once you've evaluated, there's no sense in evaluating if you don't do something about it, right? So modify your process. Don't be stubborn, right? If at first you don't succeed, try. Again, we say that all the time to kids, don't we? But we've got to take our own advice sometimes. If you've spent time, evaluating and you say, man, nobody wants this group's not going to happen, well, try again, try something else. Change your group up. No one's going to know that your group never happened. So if you post about a 21-day fix extreme group, and I'm just using that because that one's coming out next week and I'm so excited about it, but you know what I mean? If that's what you're advertising and there's nobody that wants 21-day fix extreme, well, then maybe in a week, come up with a brand new group and advertise that one. No one knows that 21-day fix group never happened because those are private groups. So, if it doesn't happen, just start over again. Don't be stubborn, modify. Here's good ideas. So if you don't think you have enough people, go out, ask more people, right? Post again. So I like to change my advertisement. So if I made a really pretty pink one that's got this flower stuff and it's super cool and I love it, maybe pink wasn't people's color that day. I don't know. But change the way it looks. Change the look of it, but keep it the same. It's the same group, but just change your advertisement picture. I usually, again, try to use about 2 to 3 advertisements for each one. I don't advertise every single day. You could obviously go ahead and run an ad and sponsor that post so that it keeps cycling and looping through people's news feeds so that you can reach more people. That's different. But I wouldn't every morning put the same picture up on your page as your daily post because that takes away value from what you're offering to the people who are following you. Combine forces with another coach. I saw, recently Becca and Camilla on our team just decided to join forces together, put 2 heads together, 2 coaches together, and make it a great group. And right now they're forming a group for February, and that's awesome. I'm so proud. proud mother that but that's what you got to do. You got to combine forces. Last year about this time, Emily Copeland and I combined forces, deciding that we were going to do a T25 versus P90X3, because that's when P90X3 had come out, and we wanted to see which one's the better program, which 30-minute or less program is going to get you better results. And so I had my team, and there were 5 people on my team, and there were 5 people on her team, and it was a competition, and the team won. The T25 team or the P90X3 team won the competition, and then Emily and I, paid for and provided prizes to the winning team, and then we mailed them out at the end of the group. It was really fun. That one was a very fun one. So brainstorm, how can you combine forces and just, make a group even better if maybe you're not getting enough attraction and maybe somebody else isn't either. I said this also, but push your start date back. Maybe, you're just not getting enough attraction, or maybe all the people came to you a little bit late. Maybe by the time you put your third post up, you got a lot of attraction. Well, push the date back a little bit then, so it leaves time for their orders to process and go through and everything, so you don't start a group and your clients don't have their stuff yet. And then add incentives. Throw in a shaker bottle. Throw in, a Shakeology T-shirt, or a Beachbody wear and share. You could throw in packets of a flavor, sample packets of a flavor that they've never tried before. Like they purchased chocolate, and you're going to give them a couple of different flavors to experiment with. The sky's the limit. I've even done like healthy snack pack where I'll send them my favorite healthy snacks in like a little envelope, and a nice note that thanks them for joining my group. So just think of ways and incentives and ways you could motivate people to want to be a part of your group. Okay, so that's it for coaching. That's it for challenge groups in terms of how to invite for challenge groups. And now I'm going to kind of move into coaching just really briefly. Coaches come in a variety of ways, and we have to remember that. Coaching is not a one-size-fits-all campaign here. It's not, if you're a coach for Beachbody, this does not mean that you have to do X, Y, and Z, and every coach does those exact same things. Every coach that I know in Beachbody is so different in their own special and unique way, and they coach for different reasons. And you've got to acknowledge that in humans also, that okay, they're not going to want to do this. Don't automatically shut people out because they're not you, or because they're not what you think a coach should be. Okay? So here are some ways that coaches could show up in your life. They could be challengers in your current groups or past groups who love Shakeology, but they want the discount. So you can bring that up to your friends and family and anybody that's in those groups, that if they want that discount, what a great way to get it. You love Shakeology so much, stop drinking it for this much, drink it for this much instead. They could be challengers who rocked out your group. Maybe they were like so awesome and they were just really, vocal in your team, and maybe they posted all the time consistently. Maybe they were that voice that was always giving advice to everybody else without even really realizing it. And then you think they would make an amazing coach because of that. Maybe it's just a friend you have who's into health and fitness. Maybe they don't do Beachbody, but maybe they go to yoga or they go to CrossFit or something, and they're into health and fitness, so what a great way to share it with other people too. Again, maybe instead of a challenger that wants the discount, maybe family members that could benefit from Shakeology, and invite them to become a discount coach so that they can enjoy their Shakeology but not have to feel like they're paying so much every month. Another way that you could invite people is through sneak peeks. So I've gotten coaches on this team actually, because of sneak peeks, a chance for them to actually get into the world of coaching and see what it's like, and then decide if this is right for them or not. It kind of helps them to also get their questions answered, because oftentimes the questions that people have when they want to decide if they should be a coach or not are typically the same sorts of questions. So sneak peeks offer those great opportunities, and I'm sure that Team 180 and Team Our Victory are going to come together again soon to start hosting another sneak peek. Obviously, it's not something that you want to do, every month, because it loses its value, but sneak peeks are a great way. So if ever there's a sneak peek happening, you've got to be on that invitation process. You just got to know, like, this is the time to shove as many people into this group as I can so that they can really, really, really see what it's all about. That simple question, have you ever considered doing what I do? Or have you ever considered being a coach? That question goes so far. It stretches further than you think it would. And so don't be afraid to ask that to people. And reach out also, people who need money, people who are talking on Facebook about how they need more money, or they wish they had enough money to go on this vacation, or also people who would want to build a stay-at-home business, who want to be their own boss. Maybe they're not happy with their current job. Those are all types of people to look for when you're thinking about inviting. So how do you invite coaches? Well, aside from the question, have you ever considered, you've got to let them see the benefits of becoming a coach. Explain about the discount. Explain about helping others and just what this job has done in terms of transforming your life, as well as transforming all the lives that you've helped along the way. And then just let them see the benefits of extra income. I mean, money doesn't hurt, right? So letting them know that for this much money, and if they've already ordered a challenge pack, it's free to become a coach. But if they haven't, for $40, you can have your own business. And essentially, you can make all of that back and more within your first month, So explain those benefits to them. Remind them why they would be a great coach. Don't just sell them on the idea of being a coach, but when you're inviting them into our family and onto our team, you want them to know that they would be great at this. Maybe they know a lot about nutrition. So maybe you would be an awesome coach, because I bet people would want to be in your groups because you could offer so much more about nutrition than most other coaches could. Maybe they're really engaging and they've just got so many followers because they're just that type of personality. Tell them that. Let them know that that's an asset as being a coach that would be amazing for them. And then maybe they're already posting like a coach. Like maybe you've got friends that are drinking Shakeology now, or people in your groups, and you see them post on their personal page about their Shakeology or about their workout. And you'd be like, hey, do you realize that if you sign up as a coach, you could keep doing that same thing you're doing right now, but you could probably get paid for it too? And just show them that that is possible. And then another way to invite coaches is invite them onto a team webinar or a call. It doesn't even have to be a what is coaching call or anything like that. You could invite them just to see, what it's like on the inside. Similar to a sneak peek, you could sneak peek them into one of our professional business meetings and let them see, just how valuable what you're doing is, and just how everybody is working for the same goal of just trying to end the trend of obesity and reach out and help as many people as possible. So inviting them into those things and just showing them, what coach life is like, it goes a long way. And so I guess to wrap it up, think about this. I was thinking earlier today that if I'm going to have a party, right, and I send out invitations, I send them out. I have invitations and I send them out. I give them away. Because when you invite people to a party that you're going to have at your house, right, you're not just going to sit at home and pray that people are going to show up at your door. I always crack up on Facebook when somebody's like, anybody want to do anything tonight? I'm like, first of all, I might be different than most people, but most of my friends on Facebook don't live around the block from me. My friends live everywhere around the world. And so who wants to do something tonight opens up you've got to buy a plane ticket, and then you're going to have to spend the night. And, it's it's silly to me. But that's kind of the same thing. It's if you want to go out with somebody, then call somebody and invite them out, right? If you want to have a party at your house, you're not just going to sit at home and make the appetizers and make all the cocktails and then just sit there and hope that somebody comes to your door. You're not going to do that. You have to extend an invitation out and let people know that it's important to you that they're there. That's the big one. You've got to let people know that it is important that they are there, and that you let them know that they're valuable, that it's a valuable part, and that if they weren't at your party, it wouldn't be the same without them. So if you're, putting this into Beachbody coaching terms, you need to let them know how important they are to our team and how valuable they would be to Team Our Victory, and just extend that invitation out to them to let them know that the team is not going to be the same tomorrow if you don't sign up today. The team is going to benefit from them being part of it. it's no different in Beachbody, right, than it would be if you would just sit at home. So you've got to invite your customers. You've got to invite your coaches and treat it as if you're inviting your very best friends over for dinner. I know it's scary, but in Beachbody, if you just get so overwhelmed and wrapped up and worried about how scary inviting is, you're going to get stuck. You're just not going to do it. I've been there. So you've got to flip your mindset and you've got to start thinking about it more as like you would invite friends over for dinner, inviting somebody to a party, because you've got to show people just that this is not a sale business, that it's just not cold. You've got to show them that this is something that's warm, that this is something that it just feels good to do this job. So anyway, I hope that this information today helped. And, as always, I'm always here for you guys. You know that if you've got any questions, you can always post them in Team Our Victory, and then I'll always be willing to ask, or you can send me a text, give me a call. You know that I'm here for you. But I really hope that this challenges you as we get to the end of January and we want to hit that Success Club, because we want to see Beachbody on demand before everybody else, right? So I know we're working hard this last week of January. I know you're pushing hard. So if inviting was scary for you, my challenge to you after listening to this webinar is to get out there and reach out to those others. Reach out to those people that did not initially like your page or call to action and do what you needed them to do. Go find those people who need you the most and invite them into your home for that dinner, right? I hope everybody has a wonderful night. We will chat soon. Thank you so much, TOV.